Hello everyone, it's Clormo with another tutorial for Logic Pro X, and I'm going to be talking today a little bit about creating some sounds from scratch using different synthesis engines in Alchemy. If you haven't done so, or it's the first time you're watching one of my videos, I invite you to subscribe to my channel so that you stay up to date. Right now I'm a little bit slower on the English version videos because I want to catch up the Alchemy series in the Spanish version. But then from there on out, there's much more content that's coming out. And with that being said, also, a lot of thanks to everybody that has subscribed recently. Thanks, and that obviously helps me get to more people and grow my channel, grow my audience, and gives me a little bit more motivation and incentives to keep doing these. But this could be a little bit of a longer video, so let's just go right away into Logic Pro X. This is just the file that I've been dealing with in the last few videos. I'm just gonna hit play before I start anything, just so that you understand that we are not dealing with any of this today. We're just gonna start from scratch. So that's just this Tango piano MIDI information with some preset. That's pretty much it. And today I wanna show you how to create something from scratch or have a basic idea. So for that, I have my keyboard active. You should, if you have one, also have it active or on, connected, just to press some notes here and there as we go through and see for yourself the detail of the effect of the changes that we're gonna do, and then play the MIDI notes that I have in my case, which would be this. You can have any other MIDI information that you such desire. I will cut this to 4 bars just to make it quicker. So what are we gonna do here? So first things, that Alchemy allows you to use the built-in synth engines to create sounds without samples. So that's what I want to do here. So in this tutorial, I want to show you how to set those building blocks to creating sounds from scratch. Remember that I intend to do a full-on sound design type of series for the last part of the year. So if this is more of an overview for what you for you to go out and experiment with a little bit more background, you know, instead of just being lost of what you're doing with the different parameters. The important thing here is that the basics will get you pretty far ahead in creating sounds, and once you have your rough ideas, then you go into the concept of filters, modulation, effects, which will serve to further refine your sound and give it a more distinct characteristic. So then you will be talking more if, okay, I want to make a string sound, I want to make a keyboard sound, bell sound, that type of thing. Make sure you go back to my other videos in the series if you need more details on the different commands that you will see in this video, and also what some of the different filters and effects should give you as far, or should be suited for as far as a particular sound is concerned, so that way you know what to tweak and what to not. So let's explore a little bit of the pure additive synthesis first. And if you remember, additive synthesis is nothing more than combining sine waves. So this will be similar to any other type of synth instrument that we have in Logic Pro and other programs, right? So you're gonna be combining sine wave harmonics and partials. So the partials are going to control your levels, pitch, panning, etc. So let's see. We want to start from scratch. So the very first thing that we do to start from scratch is just go to File and Clear. That's it. I cleared the whole instrument, and I shouldn't have any effects. I don't have anything very important here. Just a stock on clear sounds with a sine wave. And I'm just showing this here. This is really the modulation, but again, it's just the effect that the clear command does. Now let's go to source A. Let's just work with one source at a time. And when the clear, right, when we do the clear, what we have done is that we have defaulted to the virtual analog synthesis engine. That's why the little waveform shape window is showing me VA shape noise, because that's what I have. I have a stock sine wave. So let's play a few notes in the keyboard. Let's see what that does. So definitely we just have a sine wave. That's a basic building block. Now let's go here to the Additive tab and let's turn on that additive synthesis engine. If you don't do that, you really are not turning on the engine, so you are not going to be able to use like the filters and effects and all these other parameters here. So with that, now that we have that on, let's go to edit, which also by turning on the additive engine, we allow to go to in the edit window itself to go to the additive edit window. So now we should see, which is what we have here, it's a volume. What we see here is the volume active as a single column in the partial bar display. So we only have that volume. If we go to tune, we don't really have anything. We go to panning, we don't have anything. In the phase, we don't have really anything there to show. But in the volume, that's what we have, a single column in the partial bar display. And this is in reality the first and only harmonic that this sound has at this point, right? It's just a simple sine wave. Let's just, I'm just pressing the keyboard again. Kind of changed a little bit when I turned on, when we turned on the additive engine in the outside of the this window for source A. Now let's do this. Remember that you can drag from the different partials and harmonics. You can draw different bars. Let's drag across and let's make some new harmonics. It doesn't really matter what you do or how long it is, but maybe let's try to create something that resembles a kind of a waveform shape. So what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna go like that, something like this, maybe go up there, and let's stop there. So now we have a new and not only new data, we're gonna certainly have a new sound that's gonna create an effect on sound because you added more harmonics. So obviously what you hear now is gonna depend on what you are drawing in this partial bar display. So results may vary with you, but now let's play on the keyboard. And that's kind of it's a little bit of a harsher sound, a noisier sound. So let's do one thing. Let's go to the mode pop-up menu right here. Remember these control how you can edit harmonics or groups of harmonics. Right now it's at 1, so if I were to edit something, it's just gonna edit 1. What I want to do a fifth. Let's go to fifth and let's change the first harmonic. And let's see something right here. But let's see. Should be seen the other five. Yeah, so let's see. If I change any, you're gonna see that you're only gonna be affecting the fifth harmonics, and everything's gonna be tied to the very first harmonic that you have. So if I go and try to drag, you see that those in whatever thing that I drew here, maybe I should have done a longer one. So in whatever I have drawn here, those are my fifth harmonics. And the only reason I wanted to do that is that to tell you a very important concept also of building sounds from scratch is that how you should be adjusting grouped harmonics. It's the best approach to take when creating additive sounds. Creating and adjusting individual harmonics, as you saw before, is possible, but it would be tedious. It won't be as efficient. It won't be an efficient approach. So in general, even harmonics will sound more musical and odd harmonics will sound more noisy. That's why this fifth harmonic editing is giving me that type of noisy, and just even the levels go up to a point that we shouldn't Shouldn't have, but let me just go put those down again a little bit. And if let me get out of here real quick. Let me just put the volume. Well, instead of doing it at the source, let's do it at the additive. There you go. So that helps me a little bit more. Let's do this. Let's just I'm gonna keep adding harmonics all the way. I don't care. Keep doing this. There you go. There's some sort of shape there. Let's go to the very end. So kind of create something like that. I'm at 1 again, so that's why it lets me do that. That's the max I have. Now let's go to fifths again. Let's just play that. It's not gonna have that big of an impact. Let's go to fifths. Let's drag something. Those are my fifth harmonics right now. If I go to the very end, those are my fifth harmonics. That's all there is. So you see that editing just individual ones is not gonna have that big of an impact anyway. So you're better served editing groups. So I'm just trying to make getting caught up in trying to make a waveform shape. Well, that's it. That's what I have there. Okay. So now let's just go to tune, right? Because I've dealt with the levels right now. I'm at 1, and let's do the same thing. Let's just draw something that resembles a waveform, and I want to give it a little bit more. That's just a mechanical engineer in me, the designer in me. I want to see like something a little bit more symmetrical. Now let's see what that does. So we have something like a little bit more metallic, harsher. That's another thing that you can do. Let's just change back here to fifths. But instead of doing anything in the partial bar display, let's drag some points here in the envelope itself. I wanted to, yep, that's what I want to do. Because I know I have some points here. Let me drag again to the other side. Zoom it out. You can create some points as well, right? Notice, and that's what I wanted you to notice when doing tuning and going to the envelope. Just hold a note and let it hold, right, or pressed. Notice how the envelope is going to control your pitching and your tuning, right? Well, in the tuning section, obviously. So it's going to create the pitch of your harmonics, and it's giving me that pitch bend type of effect, right? So to summarize what we just did there is that harmonic envelopes control the level, pitch, panning, and phase harmonics over time. So that's why when I let the key pressed, you notice that pitch been changing up and down based on the little graphic and point edits that I did here. So this type of detailed editing, again, will basically let you recreate any type of sound that you can think of. But you could imagine that it will take much more time to do so. So again, this is more recommended for finer edits. So the real, or not the real, but the better way to be more efficient, it would be to work here in the partial bar display, work your volume, tuning, your panning, phase, all those parameters, get your sound to a level where, okay, so this is close to what I really want to go to. And then when you have a better idea of where you want to take that sound to, in a more specific manner, then you can resort to doing individual edits down here at the envelope and giving it that twisting and shaping and making it sound like a real instrument sound. So a note to make here also is that edits of the upper harmonics are unlikely to be audible in many cases, and that's why I did some huge edits here in harmonics, right? I created all this really for nothing, because it did not edit or really alter my sound. Like if I start deleting here, if I go to volume, right? So I was in tuning. Well, I'm in fifths. I need to be at 1. If I start doing that, you see? So the harmonics right at this level here, at the 20th or something, that did make some difference, but nothing that I did after really gave me any difference that you would say, okay, like that sound, if I add some partials from there to there, I pretty much get that same sound. So do not waste your time, okay? So now let's do some other tweaks. Let's get out of here and let's work with the additive section itself. Let's do some changes here in the harmonics itself, like to these knobs. Let's start. Let's just do whatever. Let's just change those knobs as you see fit. I'm just gonna keep pressing. That alone can give you an intro for a song, I think. Now let's play the media info that I have, right? Remember in the beginning and from the other video how that sounds? Let's see how it sounds now. Obviously sounds dissonant, more metallic, more crazy, but it's just the basics of how you build a sound with additive synthesis, and then you go from there. Now let's do a stretch here in the second one, and let's kind of deal with. I'm just gonna press play. I may use that for one of my beats later, so don't copy that, please. No, you can. I'm just joking. I don't know if anybody catch the reference, but remember College Dropout from Kanye at that outro at the end, where he starts saying that, where he sings that hook, and he says, "Don't bite that. I may use it later." Yeah, whatever. So you can keep doing that, and then for extra practice, what you can do or what you want to do to then take this to something resembling more of a different sound that's more realistic, less synthesized. What you do is that you can start right-clicking here and adding some modulation. So you can try perhaps a sequencer on the string parameter. Let's see. I just said it, let's just do it. Let's do sequencer 1 to the string parameter, and that should let you create like a stepped sample and hold type of sound, which in turn will kind of sound like a melody, but I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. Let me bring a preset. Let me say it all even. Yeah, it's trying to do. And I just press one note. I can change my trigger. And then my rate, I can also change my rate. Let's make it slower. Let's change the swing. So you can also alter the envelope at this stage and then do a little bit more with that. So I hope that that gives you a pretty good idea of how to get some building blocks together to start creating sounds. And I'm not gonna close here. I wanted to do one more thing, which is exploring a little bit of the virtual analog synthesis instead of just a pure additive. So what I'm gonna do, let's just go to let's do clear again. Let's clear all that we did. We have initialized to the Alchemy. We're in the virtual analog. We're in source A again. We're back to that sine wave sound. Let's just do instead of a saw wave, let's just try a sine. Yeah, I was saying earlier sine. I apologize. When you clear, you get a saw wave. This would be a sine wave, which is good for making bass sounds. And let's do a complex one. You probably hear me pressing the keys, which is let's do some square, smooth. Let's do a more of a pulse, triangle. So you have a lot of them, and for just for the sake of doing something more specific, let's do complex and soft. Let's do a soft edge. So that's kind of like a cheap keyboard piano, cheesy type of sound from the very first, probably very first DAWs out there. Let's do something. Let's go on the filter one. Let's double click the cutoff. So now we change the cutoff. That changed a little bit. Oh, but it's not on. I'm sorry. That's what it was. That makes it softer. Now let's go to global and let's adjust the what can we adjust here to make it sound a little bit more different. Let's take the so I'm pressing that. Let's go to the master volume. Let's adjust that a little bit. What do we have here? We have some LFO and we have some velocity. All right, let's go to the HDSR envelope and let's change the release a little bit. So that's another way to create, you know, to edit your basic sine waves or saw waves or waveforms. Let's go to the effects section real quick, and let's see. Let's go to let's add something. Let's see. Let's add modulation effects. Let's go to file and let's bring I don't know, big curves. Notice the difference there. Now let's adjust the rate a little bit down. Let's put something else here. Maybe another modulation perhaps. Let's do a phaser this time. And let's do another preset because I don't want to waste too much time. Let's do subtle vibrato. And let's sync that with the tempo. And now let's just play the notes that I have. And that sounds nice. Even the low notes sound pretty good for a bass sound. So I just did very simple tweaks here and there. Didn't go crazy changing the whole structure that I have from some, you know, complex waveform, right? Which is that soft edge that we started with in this example. And I came up with, in my opinion, a pretty nice synth sound, you know, lead sound type perhaps, or kind of a pad. You can do whatever you want with it. You could do like intros and all that stuff if you use just like holding a few notes on their own, right? So in the end, you can either do one or the other ones that I showed here, just pure synth additive or VA, or you can, as you know, combine different synthesis methods and create sounds. We're just dealing, in this example, we just dealt with source A. What about if I want to then source B import something? Let's just do that real quick. Let's just add some string sound, and let's import that as a granular, for example. Let's see what that does. Let's go to source B. Let's make sure that our granular is on. How about that? So I hope that you're seeing right now that this is no joke. This is not time-wasting effort. It will put you ahead of other people if you know how to, if you know a little bit of how to put those building blocks together to create sounds, and then combine different synthesis methods and create your own sounds. And you obviously have a lot of presets here that you can work with. It's always available to you. You can bring some preset and do the same thing. Just do some tweaks here and there. The preset may have 1, 2, or just 3 sources, and then you add a 4th one and do something else, giving your own twist. And going back again, you will be ahead of other people that create music, because you will be able to put that signature in your sound, which will make you different from the pack of millions of people out there that are doing this in their computers every day, even more so than I am, because I am concentrating a lot on my writing and making these tutorials nowadays because I enjoy it a lot, and I haven't been making a lot of music in the last 4 months or so. But yeah, this is effort that you should feel good putting into and putting this together. So I'm gonna cut the video here. I don't know, I've been babbling for a while, maybe 30 minutes or so, which is I think enough for something like this. I hope that you learned a lot. Thanks to all of those that keep supporting, sending comments, and subscribing. Always make sure, please, I beg you, hit the subscribe button if you have found any value in any of my tutorials. Just one tutorial that you saw once and gave you something out of it, please subscribe. This is a way of saying thank you. If you're shy, writing in the comment section. You can see in the graphic all the other areas that you can contact me. Also in the description there are links where you can go to my other material and content, and you can also reach me out there for any questions, or just to leave comments or whatever, or just let me know something about yourself. How about that? So with that, I'm gonna leave you for now. In the next video we're gonna do some other synthesis with morphing, all that type of stuff, just doing those overviews and how to create sounds from scratch. Okay, as usual, see you in the next video. Peace out, YouTube.